Hello everyone, today let's solve the problem number 217. Leetcode 217 contains duplicate, right? So what the question states here, given an integer array nums, we have to return true if any value appears at least twice in the array. So if any of the values, if it appears twice in the array, nums array, here you can clearly see, we have been given nums array, right? If any value appears twice in the array, any value that appears twice in the array, then we have to return the boolean value true. That's what they have given in the question. Otherwise, we have to return false if all the elements are distinct. When they are saying distinct, it means unique numbers, right? If we are given only unique numbers, let's come to the second example here. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4. All the elements are unique or distinct here. So in that case, if the duplicates are not present, then we have to return false in this case, right? So here you can clearly see 1 has been repeated twice here, right? And also 2 has been repeated twice, 3 has been repeated thrice here, 4 has been repeated once. So if any one number, if it appears more than once, then we have to return true. That's what they have given in the question. So here we have the output true. So I hope the question is completely clear. We have discussed the examples as well. First, I hope the question is completely clear. What we need to do is completely clear as well, right? First, let's discuss the approach followed by the edge cases and then write the code and discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. First, as usual, let's discuss the approach. So here, let's discuss the approach step by step. So I have considered the same example that they have given in the question. The first example that they have given in the question, right? 1, 2, 3, 1 nums equals. So in the array, they have given the elements 1, 2, 3, 1. The first example that they have given in the question, that itself I have considered here, right? So output that we need to get here is true because 1 is present twice. Because in the question they have mentioned, if a single element is present more than once in the array, then we have to return true in that case, right? So here in this case, the output that we need to get here is true. Otherwise, if the elements are distinct, then we have to return false, right? So first thing here is, I want to tell you that we'll be going with the hash set. We'll be going with the approach hash set or hash set lookup, right? So we will be going with the hash set that is provided by the Java, right? So I hope this is clear. Let's discuss the step-by-step execution. Let's come to the initialization part here. First thing what we will do, we will create an empty hash set. Why will be creating the empty hash set here? You can clearly see here. We are creating the empty hash set here. We are creating the empty hash set to store the unique elements. So we have to store the unique elements right here. In this case, we have to store 1, 2, 3. When another 1 is present or when the duplicate of these 3 numbers is present, then in that case, we will return the boolean value true. So that is the reason we have to store the unique element somewhere. So to store the unique elements, we'll be making use of the hash set, right? So initialization part, here in this case, we will create an empty hash set to store the unique elements, right? Second step here is, let's go with the iteration. So we will traverse the array and we will insert the elements into the set, right here. We will traverse the array and we will insert the elements into the set. So here the first iteration here is, we have the element 1, this one, the first element we are considering. 1, this is not present in the set. This is the first element, initial element, right? So this is not present in the set, and then so we will be inserting 1 here in this case, right? So let's move on with the second step here, iteration 2. Here, let's go with the second element. Second element 2 is not present in the set. 2 is not present in the set. Only 1 is present in the set. 2 is not present in the set, right? So we will be inserting 2 to the set. This is fine. Let's move on with the third step here. We have 1, 2, 3, 1 in the array, right? So let's go with the third one here. In this case, 3 is not present in the set. 3 is not present in the set. So we will be inserting 3. We will insert 3 into the set, right? So now we have 1, 2, 3, right? So the fourth element here is, you can observe the fourth element here is 1 in this case. The fourth element here is 1, right? So let's insert 1 into the set. So 1, when we try to insert here, we already know that 1 is already in the set. So instead of inserting 1, what we will do, we will return the boolean value true because duplicate of 1 is present in the array. So we will we will return boolean value true when we find 1 duplicate of 1, right? So that's what we will be doing here in this case, right? So now we got the boolean value true. This is the approach that we will be going with. Basically the output that we got here is true, and the output they have mentioned for the question 1 is also true. So this is equivalent. So the output that we got is equivalent to the output that they have given for the question, that they have given for the example 1. So the approach works absolutely correct in this case, right? So you can just try the same thing for the example 2 as well as example 3, right? So for the example 2 they have given distinct element, you will get the output false. For example 3 you will get true, right? So we have the duplicates for 1, 2 and 3 in the example 2. So the output will be true in that case. You can try the same thing. So this is the approach that we'll be going with. Easy, right? So I hope the approach is completely clear. Let's discuss all the edge cases quickly, and then let's write the code and discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. Let's come to the edge cases part here. Right here, in this case, the first edge case that we'll be discussing here is for the single element. So for the single element, so we have the single element here. Input, you can clearly see we have 5 present. So the output will be false in this case. Why the output is false here? Because we have the single element here. We don't have the duplicate element for 5. 5 we have the element 5 that is present in the array. We don't have the duplicate element. So we have to return the output value false in this case. So let's move on with the second edge case here. All unique. When I say all unique, so all the elements are unique, the duplicates are not present. Again, you can clearly see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we have. So all the elements are unique, so duplicates are not present in the array. So again, we have to return false in this case. We got the output false here. This is how we got the output false here, right? So let's move on with the third edge case here. All duplicates. So when I say all duplicates, we have the duplicates for the individual number, right? 7 we have. 7 is present 5 times here on the array. So duplicates, if the element is present, if a single element is present more than once in the array, then we have to return true in that case. That's what they have given in the question. So here we have to return true, or we have got the output true here in this case, right? So I hope this is clear. The fourth edge case is for the negative numbers here. So the fourth edge case is for the negative numbers. We have considered here -1, 2, -3 and -1. So -1 is present twice here. So it doesn't matter whether it is positive numbers or whether the array contains negative numbers here. -1, we have the duplicate for -1 here, right? So we will return true in this case, right? I hope this is clear. The final edge case is we have to return we have to check for the large input. So they have clearly mentioned in the constraints up to 10 to the power of 5, right? 1, 2 to 10 to the power of 5 will go. So in this case, I have just considered false here, right? So all the distinct numbers I have considered here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to the 10 to the power of 5. So no elements are present at this one twice, or no duplicates are present in the array. So that is the reason here we have considered false. So these are the edge cases that we need to consider. First one was for single element, second one was for all unique, third one was for all duplicates, fourth one was for negative numbers, and the fifth one is for the large input, right? These are the edge cases that we need to keep in mind. I hope all the edge cases are clear. Now let's start writing the code here. The first step here is we have to create the empty hash set. If you remember the approach, first we need to create the empty hash set, right? So I'll just go with here set this one, which is of the type integer. So I'll just give here s equals new hash set. Just give me a second here. New hash set, right? So this is fine. So now we have successfully created an empty hash set. The second step here is we have to iterate through the array or traverse through the array. I'll just make use of the simple for loop here. Int n. So this one nums, right? So nums, this one. I'm considering the parameter nums here. This is fine. So we are just iterating through the array. Within the for loop, what I need to do, or what we need to do here is we have to try to add the elements to the set. We saw the iterations, right? Individual elements we were adding to the set. That's what we need to articulate or implement that one in the form of code here. So here, if not of s dot add of n here in this case, so we have to try to add the elements to the set, right? So in this case, I have just made use of the property add here, right? So if it is not present in the set, we will be adding that number to the set for the first time, right? So then if the element is already present after inserting the elements, if any element is already present in the set, and if you are inserting the same element to the set, then in that case we will return true, right? So we will return true in that case, right? Else if all the elements are distinct, else if all the elements are distinct, or if no duplicates are found, then we will return false in that case. I'll just give here return false. Simple, right? This is it for the code. Let me hit the run button. I hope the code is completely clear, right? So whatever we have written. So here you can clearly see the sample test cases are getting passed. Let me hit the submit button quickly. So here you can clearly see all the test cases are getting passed. Means the code works absolutely correct in this case, right? So yeah, here now let's discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. So the approach that we went with here is, we know that we went with hash set lookup, right? So we have discussed this one earlier as well. So we have went with a hash set lookup. So what will be the overall time complexity here? The overall time complexity would be big of n. Why it is big of n here? Each element is inserted into the hash set exactly once. We know that one. Every time we inserted a single element exactly once, right? Each element is inserted into the hash set exactly once, so it will be big of 1. For the insertion, it will be big of 1. So in the worst case, we have to iterate through all the elements that is present in the array. Means we have to iterate through the n elements, all n elements, right? So the overall time complexity would be big of n in total. So what would be the space complexity here? So in the worst, so this one, we are speaking of space complexity, right? Sorry, all the elements are unique here, right? All the elements are unique. If the duplicate is present, we'll directly return true in that case, right? So in the worst case, all elements are unique. So in the worst case, all the elements are distinct, or all the elements are unique. Means n elements in the hash set. So we need big of n extra space here. So overall extra, space complexity here is big of n. The time complexity and the space complexity for the code that we have written as big of n, right? I hope this is clear. And also I hope whatever the code that we have written is completely clear as well, right? For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.